That night, the world witnessed an event beyond imagination. The beloved dog of Israel's prime minister, long treated as a symbol of power and loyalty, suddenly transformed into a raging giant beast that spared no one. Within hours, the nation's defense center lay in ruins. Thousands of soldiers were dead, and the entire city was engulfed in flames. How could an ordinary animal become an instrument of divine wrath? This is a story filled with tears, screams, and lessons for all of us. Before we continue this video, I humbly ask for your support. Please like and subscribe. I pray that you all remain healthy, live long, and be blessed with abundant sustenance. All right, let's begin the story. In a luxurious residence guarded by dozens of armed soldiers lived an Israeli prime minister known for his arrogance. He often presented himself to the world as an unshakable ruler, a leader who believed his military power was everything. Weapons, tanks, advanced missiles, and thousands of disciplined soldiers were his pride. But there was one thing he prized more than all his military might: his pet dog. The dog was pitch black with a white patch on its chest, strong-bodied and sharp-eyed. The prime minister gave it a grand name, a symbol of loyalty and courage. He often appeared on television with the dog, proudly showing it to his people as if to say, "Look, even animals bow before me." To many citizens, it was just a pet. But to him, it was much more, a symbol of strength, loyalty, and prestige that made him feel above all others. The dog lived a life of luxury, fed only the finest imported meats prepared by royal chefs. Its bed was lined with silk, more comfortable than the homes of countless poor citizens living in misery. Ironically, while thousands of Palestinian families starved behind barriers, this dog slept full and warm inside the palace. While children cried for their missing fathers lost to war, the dog's fur was brushed every morning, hugged, and carried lovingly. How upside down the world had become, animals exalted, while humans were trampled. But beneath the dog's majestic appearance, something strange began to emerge. It often sat silently on the palace terrace, staring at the starry night sky. Sometimes it howled long and mournfully, sending chills down the guards' spines. There was something in its eyes, something otherworldly, as if it could see what humans could not. Whispers spread among the guards. "There's something wrong with that dog. Its eyes sometimes glow," but no one dared bring such talk to the prime minister's ears. One night, during a grand state banquet, the dog suddenly roared loudly. Music stopped. Guests froze. With his trademark arrogance, the prime minister patted the dog's back and laughed. "This is a sign of courage. My dog senses our coming victory." The guests forced awkward laughter, afraid to tell the truth, that the dog's gaze was not brave but disturbed. Days passed, and the strangeness grew. The dog's appetite tripled. Its body swelled, its fur thickened, and its voice deepened. Vets were called, but none could explain it. The guards who saw it daily knew this was no ordinary growth. Something inside the creature was changing, beyond logic. Night after night it howled, its voice like thunder. People living near the palace couldn't sleep. Children cried in fear, believing a demon haunted the night, but their complaints were ignored. To the prime minister, all this was a good omen, a divine gift granted only to him. His arrogance blinded him from seeing the truth, that such omens were warnings of wrath to come. And so began the seed of catastrophe. The loyal pet that once served to soothe a ruler's ego was turning into something uncontrollable. No longer a symbol of faithfulness, it became a shadow of judgment approaching unseen. That night, Jerusalem's sky was bathed in full moonlight, as if nature itself prepared a stage for disaster. The wind blew cold and eerie. Guards at the residence sensed something unnatural. Inside, a lavish banquet was underway, celebrating the success of a new military project said to strengthen Israel's dominance in the region. Crystal lamps sparkled. Laughter, music, and clinking glasses filled the air, but in one corner of the palace, the dog sat trembling, its eyes fixed on the moon. Its body shook violently, Its breath came in harsh bursts, as if fire burned within. A servant whispered nervously, "Sir, the Prime Minister's dog looks sick." Silence. A guard hissed. "It's just a dog. Don't make a scene." Moments later, a piercing howl shattered the hall. Music stopped. Glasses fell. Guests gasped. The Prime Minister approached the dog proudly. "See? It knows how to celebrate its master's victory," he said. Then, "Chaos!" The dog convulsed. Its muscles bulged. Bones cracked. Within seconds it doubled, then tripled in size until its head brushed the ceiling. Guests screamed and fled. Chandeliers crashed, tables toppled, glass shattered. The dog's fur stood on end like spears. Its eyes glowed red. Its breath burned hot enough to sear flesh. Guards opened fire, but one swipe of its tail sent them flying, their bodies crushed against marble walls. Blood stained the once luxurious floor. The palace roof collapsed. The monster rose through the ruins, towering over the city like a living nightmare. Panic swept Jerusalem. Sirens wailed, helicopters circled above, spotlights darting over the colossal creature. Tanks rolled through the streets. The dog turned its fiery gaze toward the nation's military headquarters, the heart of Israel's defense. Thousands of soldiers took position. Missiles were armed. Commanders shouted orders, "Fire at will!" Explosions lit the night. Shells, rockets, and mortars struck the monster. But when the smoke cleared, it stood unharmed. Then it retaliated. One swing of its tail sent armored vehicles flying. Tanks weighing tons were tossed aside like toys. Hundreds of soldiers died in moments. Ammunition depots exploded, sending fireballs into the sky. The ground shook. Buildings fell. Jerusalem burned. The Prime Minister watched from his bunker, his face pale. "That's my dog. My dog. Why is it attacking us?" he whispered. Within hours, 9,000 soldiers were gone, dead, missing, or buried. The world watched in disbelief as Israel's military might crumble before a single beast. And for many who had long suffered injustice, this was no coincidence. They saw divine retribution, punishment for arrogance and cruelty. The dog rampaged through the city. Civilians screamed, running in chaos. Buildings collapsed, cars burned, streets turned to rivers of fire. The Prime Minister fled underground, trembling. Reports poured in, casualties, destruction, despair. Then came the final horror. The bunker walls shook. The lights went out. A thunderous roar echoed, near, too near. With one strike, the steel door, nearly a meter thick, was torn apart. The monster's glowing eyes appeared in the darkness. The Prime Minister fell to his knees, weeping. "Stop! Please! I raised you, I fed you, I loved you!" he cried. The beast only stared, with eyes of judgment, not loyalty. It roared, and the palace above collapsed, burying everyone beneath. When dawn came, Jerusalem lay in ruins. Smoke rose from the rubble. The air reeked of gunpowder and blood. Thousands were dead. Survivors wandered through the debris, mourning their loved ones. No one ever found the dog's body. Some said it vanished into the night. Others believed it was taken back by divine forces. But one truth remained. Its legend lived on. People told their children, never be arrogant. Never oppress others. Even the most loyal creature can become an instrument of God's wrath. The city rebuilt itself slowly. The survivors learned humility, compassion, and faith. And so the story ends, not merely as a tale of horror, but as a warning. Power is not meant for pride, but for protection. Strength is not for oppression, but for justice. For every arrogance, there comes a fall. Even the heavens seem to whisper that morning. The world may tremble at the roar of a giant dog, but the true message is greater, a reminder of humility, compassion, and the certainty that divine wrath may come from where we least expect it.